Hello and welcome to episode 68 of What If Civilization Started Over. Let's get into it. Last episode we did the peace treaty of World War III, also known as the Treaty of Alta. And Alta is the capital city of this country here. This capital city here is Alta. And, I've updated the layers. Yeah. Ideology layers. We have it. And I completely forgot about this here in Southern Africa, so I did that off camera. But it's time to get into the events of this video. Something big is happening. Let's look at the international states of the world layer, because the Mediterranean Union is going to leave it. Yeah. And instead of being in it, they are going to form an alliance with Russia. The Square Alliance. Yeah. That's something. And then also Hong Kong is going to be invited into it. Oops, wrong shape. And they're also going to join. And very quickly there's a huge alliance now. The three strongest countries in the world are all in one alliance. Now it's time to look at the international state of the world layer. Because, again, some countries are going to be joining the organization. Specifically, some of the new ones. Like this country and this country. Yeah. And also a bunch of these Indian countries here, who are currently flawed democracies, are going to be joining the organization for protection, mainly protection against Hong Kong. Because Hong Kong is a giant empire, and countries don't want their land to be taken over. Even to an extent being threatened by Russia. All the Korean Union countries will be joining it, and so will this country. And very quickly, every country in Asia except the communist countries in Russia have decided to, do this. Yeah, join the international states of the world. And time to look at the communists here, because they are all going to make an alliance. The Trio Pact is what it's called, represented by a circle. Oh, and this puppet state thing here, ruled by the yellow team, it's Persia now. I forgot about that. And all communist countries around the world are going to be invited to join this. But they won't. Yeah. But they will be making a new alliance. These communist countries in West Africa will be forming a new alliance. The Up Arrow Alliance. That's something. As every single communist nation within the Western African region is going to be making this alliance. And now we have communist alliances everywhere. And communism here, it's collapsing. As some countries will be being switched to flawed democracies, like these ones here. And then eventually, after a while, all of the countries that are communist in South America and North America have become flawed democracies. Yeah. But there's still tension over in these countries, like Russia. Russia is having unrest, especially with the entire world. The world is not happy with Russia. They do not have a favorable view of the Russian Empire. Yeah. Time to go down here, because some countries are going to be joining unifications. As these two countries here will be joining this African Union thingy-majig here. The North African Union. And also these countries here. And so all three of these countries here. And very quickly, the North African Union here, went from one of the smaller, less powerful countries in the world to a big powerhouse in Africa. Yeah. And also inviting other countries that are communist into it. Yeah. And they're still democratic. And, the Mediterranean Union is having unrest over here. There's unrest in basically all of Europe. The world is time to talk about nuclear bombs. The nuclear bombs have completely eradicated the world. World War III was about 20 years in this timeline's world. And, within the first 10 years, over 1,000 nuclear bombs were used. And they basically blew up the entire continent of Europe and Asia. As there's like no people here. Russia has become less populated than Hong Kong. Yeah, that makes sense. But Hong Kong was also nuked. And the Mediterranean Union is having less population than the American country. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever we looked at population density before, Europe and Asia were just like packed with a whole bunch of people. But now, there's like barely any. And in fact, only about 10% of that original population is still alive. Which is concerning. Yeah, as Russia has currently less population than this country. Yeah, the entire world does not have favor for this, and more and more people are passing away because of nuclear radiation. So Russia is going to do something about it. They are going to make more nuclear bombs. Yes, Russia will be making more. Yes, if I can make sure I'm on a different layer. As Russia will be producing 250 nuclear bombs. You know, and the world is not liking this at all. They are giving way too many economical sanctions to Russia for Russia to handle. And yeah. And Russia is going to go straight back into war. Literally right after World War III has ended. Yeah. So Russia's going to declare war on this communist alliance here. So they were quickly going to be going into the Persian and Middle Eastern areas, just out of spite for their nations. Yeah, that's concerning. What? I say everything's concerning? Wait, what? Where's the nuclear bomb layer go? Am I on the layer? Oh my, I accidentally put that on the nuclear bomb layer. So I guess I will be moving the nuclear bomb layer up a bit higher. And then Russia is going to be pushing into the Persian area. It'll be maybe possibly starting World War IV, right after World War III. And immediately, with nuclear bomb warfare happening, Russia will be able to destroy the Middle Eastern areas. And this will be enough for the world. The world has had enough with the Russia. Just Russia alone. The world does not like Russia even a tiny bit. Well, and more economical sanctions are being put on Russia, and Russia is becoming broke. They don't have money, but they don't care, as they're going to extract resources out of Siberia. Yeah, not very much. Time to look over here, because this country is collapsing. As this country can't afford to be in economical alliances anymore, wrong layer. They will be leaving the economical alliance, and then they get put into civil war. You like this? As a huge part of their Amazonian areas will be breaking away, and since this country is so poor, they will be forced to surrender over to the rebels. Let's look at what the rebels take. And the rebels will be deciding to take all this area. In this country, they just can't afford to do, anything anymore, as their ideology circle has been moved into that country, and they will be joining the Brazilian Union. Yeah. And then another big thing happens with the Brazilian Union. As the Brazilian Union, and this purple country here will be joining to form Brazil. And now we have a giant Brazilian country in South America, and a lot more blue in the continent. That's pretty big. Yeah. And now it's time to look at another unification over here in Africa. As Uganda is going to be joining this country. And now it seems like there's been a lot less countries in the world as of recently. And that is going to continue as this country is going to join America. And, looks like there's a lot of unifications. Just kind of following another pattern right after World War III. Yeah. And Mexico is going to decide that they want to take full control over this country here. So Mexico is going to declare war on this Mexico. North Mexico declaring war on the South Mexico country thingy. Yeah. So quickly the troops of the Mexican country that are exhausted from World War III are going to go straight back into fighting. not global fighting, but yeah, they will be going into here. Maybe they're not as exhausted as they only had to focus on one front, but they will be pushing greatly into this country. And this country is never going to be doing well. They're not doing well, as their capital is going to be taken. But the southern capital is still there. But they will surrender in order to live. Let's look at the peace treaty. And this is the peace treaty. And then, one of the Mexican armies are going to attempt to be forming a huge Mexico country, as they will be going into here. Into this country, which is exhausted and, well, kind of in fear from communism ruling its country for a while. And they go into this area, even though they're exhausted from World War III, even though they kind of got nuked. So yeah, Mexico is becoming a pretty large country. But this Mexican country will accept that they two unite into one to form the Mexican Union, and will be able to rule the Mexican area for peace. And they accept, as these two countries will be uniting to form the Mexican Union, which is applications are being sent over to this country, or proposed unions. And there's another purple union on the map, and no more purple unions happening over here with Korea. Yeah, it's time to go all the way back here, because the Russian invasion of this country is going to continue as they make a landing in Cyprus, and will be going here, and they will be, well, doing a lot of damage, as they will force this country into surrender, at least in the Middle Eastern areas, and they will get to the Suez Canal, and will force this country to surrender over in Egypt as well. Why is it yellow? Oh yeah, I know I could. And the first capital of Persia will be falling as well. And this is going to be enough for the world. Specifically, all of the countries that are within the IS, within the international states of the world. All the countries within the international states of the world are going to hold a vote. A very important vote. Do we, either one, let Russia do their thing and imperialize the world alongside the Mediterranean Union and Hong Kong? Or do we two, declare war on the Square Alliance, so Hong Kong, the Mediterranean Union, and Russia as a united force to beat back the imperialist Russians? This vote is going to be major. Many countries can't decide. Some accept, like the North African country, is going to decide they want to declare war. But some other countries don't want to declare war. Like, Persia, which also joins the international states of the world right before it capitulates. And all these three countries do. This country here is thinking about it, and so is half the world. Yeah, those countries do join it. And the green team will also be joining the international states of the world. And this poll is going to affect the world greatly. It's on live television, and people are scared. They are in fear. It's only been a couple months ever since World War III ended. After the big nuclear war that is still affecting the world today. Well, there's some people who were born during World War III and are now ready to fight in World War IV. Well, and when the votes come in, it is unanimously decided that the international states of the world is going to declare war on the Russian Empire. And when in the first bullets are shot, as the North Africans will be pushing into Egypt and the Mediterranean Union, as with help from all of Africa, they will be greatly pushing back this area. And with this country here, they will also be pushing into the Russian Empire, as Russia wasn't expecting this. And soon after, many other countries follow. This country follows. This country even follows as well. Every country that is within the international states of the world declares war on the Russian Empire. And when this happens, the Russian Empire will declare war on the international states of the world back at Russia. And that is going to do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. See you in the next episode, where we'll look at the beginning of World War IV. Bye!